The Colorado River is the lifeblood of the American West, providing water to over 40 million people across 7 U.S. states and Mexico. This mighty river stretches over 1,450 miles, originating from the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and winding its way through the arid landscapes of the southwestern United States before finally emptying into the Gulf of California in Mexico. Its journey is a testament to the diverse and often harsh environments it traverses, shaping the land and the lives of those who depend on it. It supports major cities like Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, which rely heavily on its waters for drinking, sanitation, and industrial uses. These urban centers have grown and thrived in what would otherwise be inhospitable desert regions, thanks to the Colorado River's life-giving flow, and transforms deserts into productive agricultural lands. The river's water is diverted through an intricate network of canals and irrigation systems, turning arid soil into fertile ground that produces a significant portion of the nation's fruits, vegetables, and nuts. This agricultural bounty is a direct result of the river's ability to sustain life in an otherwise barren landscape. The river is also crucial for hydroelectric power, with dams like Hoover and Glen Canyon providing electricity to millions. These engineering marvels harness the river's flow to generate renewable energy, reducing reliance on fossil fuels and contributing to the region's energy security. Beyond human use, the river holds immense recreational and cultural value, especially for Native American tribes. For centuries, indigenous communities have lived along its banks, relying on its waters for sustenance and spiritual practices. Today, the river continues to offer recreational opportunities like kayaking, rafting, and fishing, drawing millions of visitors each year who seek to experience its natural beauty and adventure. However, this vital resource is now facing an unprecedented crisis. Prolonged droughts, exacerbated by climate change, have significantly reduced the river's flow. The once mighty Colorado is now struggling to meet the demands placed upon it, leading to severe water shortages and environmental degradation. Population growth and new industries have increased demand, while the water supply has been shrinking. As more people move to the region and new industries emerge, the pressure on the river's limited resources intensifies. This unsustainable demand is pushing the Colorado River to its breaking point. The balance is broken, and the consequences are severe for everyone dependent on this river system. Farmers face crop failures, cities implement water restrictions, and ecosystems that once thrived along the river's banks are now in peril. The ripple effects of this crisis are felt far and wide, impacting the economy, environment, and quality of life in the region. The future of the American West is inextricably linked to the future of the Colorado River. As we look ahead, it is clear that sustainable management and innovative solutions are essential to preserving this vital resource for generations to come. The choices we make today will determine the fate of the Colorado River and the millions of people who depend on it. The Colorado River Basin is experiencing rapid water loss, a situation that has become increasingly dire over the years. This alarming trend is meticulously tracked by NASA's GRACE satellites, which provide critical data on the changing water levels. Over the past 2 decades, the basin has lost over 13 trillion gallons of fresh water. This staggering amount of water loss is equivalent to the annual water consumption of several major cities combined. This loss includes both visible surface water and hidden underground reserves. The drying up of lakes and rivers is just the tip of the iceberg. Nearly 2/3 of the total water loss since 2002 has come from groundwater. This invisible resource is being extracted at an unsustainable rate. These ancient aquifers, which took thousands of years to fill, are being drained faster than they can replenish. Once depleted, they may never fully recover. The depletion of groundwater is a silent emergency with profound implications for long-term water sustainability. Communities that rely on these water sources are facing unprecedented challenges. The pace of groundwater loss has quickened, signaling an escalating problem that demands immediate attention. Urgent water conservation efforts are needed to address this crisis and ensure a sustainable future for the region. Overpumping is the primary driver behind the staggering loss of groundwater in the Colorado River Basin. As surface water supplies became less reliable, users turned to groundwater, drilling deeper wells. This practice has become unsustainable, particularly in the lower Colorado River Basin. Minimal regulations have led to a free-for-all, with users pumping without understanding the cumulative impact. Consequences include dry wells, increased pumping costs, land subsidence, and declining water quality. Groundwater depletion is accelerating, especially in Arizona, creating a ticking time bomb beneath the desert floor. Climate change is exacerbating the Colorado River crisis, making the Southwest hotter and drier. Rising temperatures affect the snowpack in the Rocky Mountains, the river's primary source. More precipitation falls as rain instead of snow, and snow melts earlier, reducing runoff. Increased evaporation further diminishes water availability. The river's flow has dropped by about 20% over the past century. Climate models project a potential 30% reduction in flow by mid-century. This paints a challenging picture for the future, demanding new ways of managing this precious resource. The Colorado River Basin faces increasing demand alongside a shrinking water supply. The Southwest's rapid population growth has increased urban water needs. Water-intensive industries like data centers and semiconductor plants add further pressure. Agriculture remains the largest water user, with 80% of diversions going to crops. Some crops, like alfalfa, are high water users and are often exported, raising questions about water use priorities. The system was over-allocated based on historical flow data, and current legal frameworks are outdated. Addressing these demands requires aggressive conservation and difficult choices about future development. The Colorado River crisis impacts both cities and agricultural lands. Major cities rely on the river for water, facing increased uncertainty and rising costs. Water restrictions and conservation programs are becoming more common. In agricultural communities, water shortages push farmers to fallow land or switch crops. The economic ripple effects can be devastating, leading to lost income and reduced land values. The competition for water between urban and agricultural users is intensifying. Finding an equitable balance is a significant challenge for water managers. The Colorado River Basin is crucial for the U.S. food supply, especially winter vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Water shortages force farmers to reduce acreage, leading to smaller harvests and higher prices. The intricate supply chains that bring fresh produce to American tables are vulnerable to disruptions. A significant portion of water is used for crops like alfalfa, which supports livestock and is often exported. This raises questions about the most efficient use of dwindling water resources. Ensuring a stable food supply requires addressing the water crisis with urgency. Experts like Professor Jay Famiglietti have been sounding the alarm about the Colorado River's future. His research highlights the dangerous over-reliance on groundwater, which is vanishing. The depletion of aquifers undermines the long-term resilience of the water system. Climate scientist Daniel Swain stresses the need for new management guidelines that account for climate change. The scientific community agrees that business as usual is not an option. Urgent calls to action are directed at policymakers, water managers, and the public. The future of the Colorado River Basin is uncertain, with potential dire consequences if current trends continue. The river, which has been a lifeline for millions of people across several states, is now facing unprecedented challenges. Climate change, prolonged droughts, and increasing water demands are pushing the river to its limits. If we do not act now, the repercussions could be catastrophic. Reservoir levels could reach dead pool status, crippling hydroelectric power and water deliveries. This would not only affect the millions who rely on this water for daily use, but also the industries and agriculture that depend on it. The Hoover Dam, an iconic symbol of American engineering, could become a stark reminder of our failure to manage this precious resource. Groundwater aquifers could be irreversibly damaged, leading to widespread well failures and land subsidence. This would have a domino effect, causing infrastructure damage and making it even harder for communities to access clean water. The land itself could sink, creating hazardous conditions and further straining already limited resources. Agriculture could face an existential threat, impacting food supply and prices nationwide. Farmers who have relied on the river for generations could find themselves unable to sustain their crops. This would not only affect local economies, but also the national food supply, leading to higher prices and potential shortages. The socioeconomic impacts would be immense, with severe water rationing and potential conflicts over resources. Communities could face water shortages, leading to public unrest and disputes over water rights. The strain on social systems could be overwhelming, affecting everything from public health to economic stability. Comprehensive regulatory and management changes are urgently needed. Policymakers must come together to create sustainable solutions that balance the needs of all stakeholders. This includes investing in new technologies, improving water use efficiency, and developing long-term strategies to cope with the changing climate. The current guidelines for managing the river expire in 2026, spurring intense negotiations among basin states. These discussions are crucial for establishing a framework that ensures the river's health and sustainability for future generations. The stakes are high, and the decisions made now will have lasting impacts. Experts warn that time is running out to reach a consensus. The window for effective action is closing rapidly, and delays could lead to irreversible damage. It is imperative that all parties involved prioritize collaboration and swift decision-making to address this crisis. The decisions made in the coming months will shape the future of the Colorado River and the millions who depend on it. Every choice, every policy, and every action taken will determine whether we can preserve this vital resource or face the dire consequences of inaction. Immediate, decisive, and collaborative action is essential. The future of the Colorado River Basin hangs in the balance, and it is up to us to ensure that it remains a source of life and prosperity for generations.